Y'all treat all your patients like this or just the black ones? My daughter went into active labor at home. We took her to the hospital. She called ahead of time, so we know they are expecting us. However, we get there to the emergency room. We watching nurses, putting gloves on, running to the door. They get outside of the door, and I drive a black SUV, and they look at my vehicle, and one of the nurses come up to the window and she goes, I'm sorry, this is for ambulance only. I said, well, my daughter is in active labor. And she was like, okay, she said, but you're going to have to go to the front.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl Nick, and you're tuned in to Nick at Night. This is a channel where I talk about celebrity news and gossip and give my opinion on trending stories. And tonight we're going to be talking about a story that is going viral on TikTok where a mother is exposing a hospital for the treatment to her daughter that was in labor. So they went to the hospital, called ahead, as she said, and her daughter had to sit in agony for over 30 minutes, to which she states that she had the baby 12 minutes later. Let me play the video that's going viral and then the rest of her explanation as to what happened.
When's your due date?
Right now.
Is your due date 11?
What?
How many times have you been pregnant?
3.
This is your third pregnancy?
Yes.
You have 2 babies
It's
at
in
home?
my ass.
You have 2 babies at home? Who's your doctor?
Lang is her doctor. Y'all treat all your patients like this or just the black ones?
Okay, Beverly, this is the first patient for you. Last name is Jones. She's G3P2. I'm not sure when her due date is.
Her due
I
date is
just
the
said it
10th.
was the 10th.
I think her due date is the 10th.
She got 3 pregnancies, 2 babies at home. I bet y'all listen next time. When you found out you was delivering at this hospital, your ass should have changed doctors.
Thank you.
Everybody say how they treat people here.
Okay, so as you can see from the video, her daughter was clearly in active labor and should have been immediately taken up to labor and delivery. They could have did that intake while they are strapping her on the bed, getting her vitals, and preparing her for labor. Anybody who has had a child before, you know that when you feel the baby in your butt area, it is time to push. So the fact that the nurse is not even looking at her, not even paying attention, and she said, it's in my and everything, and she's just looking away, not even catering to her at all, off with her license immediately. The fact that they set her there in distress, in agony, and from the mom's account where she says it was over 30 minutes is definitely unacceptable, especially when she called ahead and they knew she was coming. Unacceptable. So a lot of people started to speak out about this. This hit the internet, I want to say yesterday or maybe the day before, and it's already at over 20 million views, and there are a lot of people speaking out. Let me go to her TikTok, read to you some of the comments that people left and what they're saying, and then I'm going to play the mother's video where she explains what happened in detail and what their experience was like. All right, so this is her TikTok account, and she's kind of been documenting her journey with this hospital, and it has, like I said, a lot of people speaking out about it. Her name is Cashman2814 if you guys want to go be up to speed and check it out. And as you can see, the video of her daughter in agony is at 22.9 million views in just one day. As you see, this was posted a day ago. Now, it has over 100,000 comments. And a lot of people calling out medical racism and saying how Black women are treated when they are in the hospital and underrepresented, where we say we're hurting and it's dismissed, etc. So like I said, let me go through some of these comments and let's get to it. And the comments are still going up. This woman says, "This is exactly why I'm going into OBGYN. Black women deserve better." She did that on purpose. I've never seen a mom in active labor not be rushed into the delivery suites. Even acknowledging her or her pain? Somebody in the comments said, "This hospital deleted my sister. I'd never go there. Ever." What? Please get the nurse's info and get a lawyer. This is not healthcare. Doula here, file a complaint and sue immediately. She never even turned around when she screamed. So sad. I'm a labor and delivery nurse. You need to sue. All right, so as you can see, the comments was pouring in. Many people were saying that they needed to sue. Many people were saying that they need to get the nurse's information, file a complaint. They were even telling her what steps to take, in what order to file the complaint. And people who were nurses, medical professionals, people who went to the hospital, all types of people chiming in under the comment section. But let's get to what the mom of the woman that was in labor had to say about her experience. Let's go to it.
We get there to the emergency room. We watching nurses, putting gloves on, running to the door. They get outside of the door, and I drive a black SUV, and they look at my vehicle. And one of the nurses come up to the window and she goes, "I'm sorry, this is for ambulance only." I said, "Well, my daughter is in active labor." And she was like, "Okay," she said, "but you're going to have to go to the front." I'm like, I have to drive to the front. And they said, "Yeah, you have to drive to the front." Okay, another redhead. And so I'm like, so she's you hear, and it was like, yeah, she started bagging up, hit the button, went back inside the building. So I go around to the front. I get out of the car. Again, this girl is in more pain now than she was when we first left the house. And she started saying, "I feel pressure, I feel pressure." I said, "Take deep breaths." I ran in. I said, "Hey, my daughter's in the car. I went to emergency. They told me I had to come to the front." So the lady was like, "What's your daughter's name?" Told her Kiara Jones. She gets out some paperwork, start typing in the name. I was like, "Ma'am, do you have a wheelchair or anything?" "She's in the car. I need to get her in." "Oh, if you check on the other side of those doors where the vending machine's at, there should be a wheelchair out there." There's no wheelchair out there. So she gets up, she walks in the back, and she come to the door with a wheelchair. She said, "Here you go, ma'am." I said, "Excuse me, you're not going to come with me?" And she was like, "No." Oh, okay. So a police officer was in the lobby. He gets up. He grabbed a wheelchair. He goes out the door with me. He said, "Come on, I got you." Went out there. She is on hands and knees in the back of the vehicle. And I'm like, "Oh, shit, what is going on?" And then she goes, "It's in my ass." And I was like, "What?" And the guy was like, and she was like, he said, "Okay." She was like, "Give me a minute." She could not move. So when that contraction eased, we put her in a wheelchair. He said, "You can go park your car," because they, again, had people out there. So I went park my car. It wasn't even 30 seconds. I run back in the building. She's just there with a stack of papers in her hand, screaming that this baby is coming. This baby is coming. I look at the registers behind the window, and they looking at me, and they was like, "Well, we can't do anything until she signed the papers." Are you fucking kidding me? So I grabbed the papers, and of course, it's they ER bullshit that they have. And I was like, you want her to sign this, and she's in active labor. And they was like, okay. I was like, ma'am, she was supposed to be induced earlier today at 8 o'clock. And they called and told her that they will call her because they didn't have beds. And they would let her know. And no one ever called back. They called back every hour on an hour. And it was like, no, we'll call you back. And then finally her water break, she called them. They tell her to come in. So why is she signing these papers? We need her in labor and delivery. And it was like, ma'am, I'm sorry. So the charge nurse comes out and she saw the paper signed. What fucking, are you serious right now? And she closes the door. And then the lady behind the window at this point, my daughter, scribbled her name on all the papers. We gave it to her. She says, thank you. She walked it around to the charge nurse. She opened up the door. My daughter is literally like having a contraction. And she's just standing there in the door. So we push her into the door. I said, can we get her into labor and delivery? She said, no, we have to fill out all this paperwork. I have to do the paperwork and get her a band before we can send her upstairs. So that was the video that you guys saw that I initially posted. So the next video that has no picture on it was when I was pushing her in and we was at the window because they asked me to move her from the window so they can take care of the guests or, patients that was coming in and out. Give birth in a chair. That's what it is.
I can't take her upstairs without
Which is what?
Miss your
So you'll take a chance of infections and her having a baby in this chair. So she's not a priority. I'm about to calm down. Because this right here is. Do not go to this hospital. This hospital is ghetto as hell. They do not care about black women or their babies. This is crazy. I read about stuff like this all the time, but to see this firsthand, this lady did not care. None of them. It wasn't until we got into labor and delivery where we saw an ounce of care or sympathy for her. Before then, they can care less. She did not care if she gave birth in that wheelchair. That was not her problem or her concern.
Ma'am,
Yes.
are you able to call the anesthesiologist?
Someone is coming to take you to labor and delivery.
That's not what I asked.
I cannot help.
This situation is definitely unacceptable. It's so many people who are advocating for them in the comments. You even have lawyers who are reaching out to them, letting them know that they're lawyers. So I suspect there is going to be a hefty, hefty lawsuit pretty soon. And I also suspect when things like this happen, it brings out other people to share their experience. So if you have visited the hospital that is Dallas Regional Medical Center in Mesquite, Texas, and you've had an encounter similar to this with this charge nurse, Miss LaCrista Vaughn, definitely share your experience and file a complaint as well. This sounds like something that needs to be a class action lawsuit, because if they treated her this way, I'm pretty sure she's not the first and she won't be the last unless there is serious action, serious change, and people really holding up this medical group to the fire, because there's no way that she's bouncing around in a wheelchair, up, down, sitting up and down, and this is her actual due date. Not only even if it's her actual due date, you can go into labor 2 weeks before your due date. You can go to labor anytime. So the fact that they are not rushing her there, she said several times that she feels the baby in her rear, meaning that it is close to push time. It's absurd. I hope that the hospital gets everything that's coming to them, and I hope that people boycott and just don't go there. I don't know how far the next hospital is, if it's dire that they have to go to this one or whatever, but if there is a way to avoid it, okay? Again, this situation happened at Dallas Regional Medical Center in Mesquite, Texas, and the charge nurse is LaCrista Vaughn. So if you guys have any experience in this, definitely talk about it. If you experience this hospital, talk about it. This happened far too often. There's so many Black women that go to these hospitals and get dismissed from their pain, overlooked. There's several women who died during childbirth because of the dismissiveness from these doctors, and it's outrageous. So you guys let me know what you think about it. My heart goes out to her. I'm glad that she was able to deliver her baby safely. And if you guys want to follow along with the journey about this, go on over to the mom's page on TikTok. Her page is Cashman2814. She has an Amazon registry linked on her page, and people have been supporting the mom with the registry and so on and so forth. You guys let me know what you think down below, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.